Hi everyone, welcome to Netgate Chemistry. So in the previous video we studied about the Debye-Huckel theory. So from that theory we were able to calculate the thickness of an ionic atmosphere. How? We'll see it now. So suppose you have a positively charged ion in the solution which is present here. So it will be surrounded by negatively charged ions. We have studied about that. So what happens? This ionic sphere will be having some thickness, right? So that thickness from here to here, from center of the positive charge to any center of the negative charge, this is known as your Debye-Huckel length or your Debye length. This is known as your Debye length or your thickness of the ionic sphere. This is the thickness of your ionic sphere. So to calculate the thickness of this ionic sphere, it is represented by small lambda to the base capital D. So the formula is lambda D is equals to 1 upon kappa is equals to epsilon naught epsilon r kb T upon 2 Na E square I whole to the power 1 by 2. Here your epsilon r is dielectric constant of medium. Medium is your solvent in which you have taken these ions, right? Epsilon naught will be dielectric constant of free space, or you can say vacuum. Small is E is charge on electron. Kb is your Boltzmann constant. And I is your ionic strength. We'll study about ionic strength in few minutes from now. Okay, so for now you can just see that this I is your ionic strength. Okay, so we have a term known as mean ionic activity coefficient, okay, which is represented by log of gamma to the base plus minus. This also we are going to study in few minutes. So this is given by minus a z plus z minus mode, that is we are going to take the positive value of the multiple of these two, I to the power 1 by 2, or you can say root I. Okay, this is a very important formula, and based on these formulas many numericals are asked. Okay, so if I'm going to plot a graph between mean ionic activity coefficient, that is log of gamma plus minus, and root of ionic strength, then I'll get a graph like this. Okay, so if we have 1:1 electrolyte, for example your NaCl, graph will be like this. For 1:2 or 2:1, graph will be like this, and for 2:2, graph will be like this. Okay, why is it happening? Because of these z values. Okay, as we go on increasing the z values, the slope of the graph is declining. Okay, so this is all about your mean ionic activity coefficient. Also, at 25 degrees Celsius, value of this capital A, this capital is A is equals to 0.509 in case of water. Okay, if solvent is water, then at 25 degrees Celsius value of A is 0.509. So for water as a medium, you can get the formula, this formula, as log of gamma plus minus is equals to minus of 0.509 z plus z minus mode root I. Okay, this is for water as a medium. Okay, So now if your ionic strength of solution is too high, for that your Debye-Huckel law, or you can say the formula, is not valid. This formula is not valid. Certain corrections are needed. So if the molality of your solution is very high or the concentration is very high, so what happens? It is explained using Debye-Huckel limiting law. Okay, Debye-Huckel limiting law is nothing but your extended Debye-Huckel law. Okay, why I'm calling it extended? Because this extended law will be valid for the solutions in which the concentration or your molality term is very high. So in that case we'll apply the correction, and this equation will change to this equation which I'm going to write down now. That is log of gamma plus minus is equals to minus a z plus z minus mod I to the power 1 by 2, and the corrections are upon I plus bi to the power 1 by 2 plus c into I. So this is your extended Debye-Huckel law, or you can say Debye-Huckel limiting law for more concentrated solutions. So if we look for the graph for same, we'll plot same graph for Debye-Huckel law and Debye-Huckel limiting law. So we'll see what we get. Okay, so if we plot a graph between log of gamma plus minus versus root of I, then we'll get two lines like this. This line will represent the extended Debye-Huckel law, and this line will represent Debye-Huckel law. According to Debye-Huckel law, we'll get a plot like this, and for extended Debye-Huckel law we'll get a plot like this. Okay, so this is all about your Debye-Huckel theory and Debye-Huckel limiting law. Now we'll move on to activity and ionic strength, the terms which we have mentioned just few minutes before. Okay, so now we'll continue with that. So now the topic which we are going to study is relation between activity coefficient and concentration terms. Okay, so this is the next topic. So if we are taking the concentration in terms of molality, that is your small m. So I think so far you would have seen the video, the first part of the video of general concepts of physical chemistry. So now you'll be knowing that concentration can be represented by various ways like molarity, molality, normality, etc. So in this case we are representing the concentration in terms of molality. So the activity of that solution at molality small m will be given by gamma m into the molality of that solution. Now here am is your activity. Okay, am is your activity, gamma m is your activity coefficient, and m is your molality, right? So this is a basic relation between your activity coefficient and concentration. So if we take a solution having cations and anions in it, okay, so it is not possible for us to separately measure the activity of cations and anions. Okay, so what happens, we cannot measure the amount of activity provided by these cations and the amount of activity provided by these anions separately. So since it is not possible, so because it is not possible to have ions exclusively of one charge in a solution. So what we do, we take mean ionic activity. Okay, in this case, for us to represent activity, what we have to do, we have to take the mean ionic activity. Now what is this mean ionic activity? Suppose I am representing mean ionic activity by A plus minus. Okay, so it will be root of activity of cations into activity of anions. This is your mean ionic activity. Or you can say A plus minus square is equals to A, because for the solutions which we take, generally A positive and A negative, they have almost same values, right? So now I'm taking an electrolytic solution. So for any electrolyte, suppose MxAy, this is my electrolyte. Okay, what happens when we take it in a solution? It dissociates. Okay, suppose it dissociates like this: Xm positive plus Ya negative. This way it is going to dissociate. So if I want to represent the activity of this electrolyte in a solution, so what will it be? It will be activity of cation to the power x, the stoichiometric coefficient of this cation, and activity of anion to the power y, the stoichiometric coefficient with this present with this anion. Or I can say A plus minus to the power x plus y, because I know the activity coefficients for cation and anion are almost same. Okay, so now suppose I am saying molality of cations is represented by M positive and molality of anions is represented by M negative. Okay, so what happens? We have studied a formula, A is equals to gamma into M. Here we have studied this formula. So what happens? Now I'm going to put the values. Okay, so what happens? I know A positive is equals to gamma positive into M positive. Similarly, A negative is equals to gamma negative into M negative. Okay, so if I want to find out the value of activity, this activity, then I can say it will be equal to gamma positive x into M whole to the power x into gamma negative y M to the power y. See what I have done? I have taken this equation, okay, here, and then what I have done, I have put the value of A positive here and A negative here, A negative here. Okay, so basically I have put this and this in this equation. Okay, so I have got this equation. So after solving, what I can get, A is equals to x to the power x, y to the power y, gamma plus minus to the power x plus y, M to the power x plus y. Okay, when we are going to rearrange it, we are going to get this. Okay, so this is the equation which will come into practice for us. Okay, this all which we have done, this is basically for us to understand how it comes out, how this formula comes out. But the main part is this is the application. Okay, based on this application we get many questions, so we'll solve 2 or 3 questions based on this formula now. Okay, so question number 1 is, we have to calculate the activity of an electrolytic solution of KCl. So how KCl is going to dissociate? It will be like K positive plus Cl negative. Okay, so if I compare this with the previous equation which we have written, then it will be like this, plus Ya negative, right? So from here, if we want to calculate the values of x, y and the molality, so I'm taking the molality of this solution to be small m. I'm not taking any specific values. So from here, if you calculate the values of x and y, see the coefficient of k positive, m positive, k positive. The coefficient of k positive is 1. So value of x is definitely 1. Similarly, if I take the coefficient of Cl negative, like in this case coefficient of A negative is y, in this case coefficient of Cl negative is also 1, so value of y is also 1. So we had derived a formula that was A is equals to x to the power x, y to the power y, gamma plus minus to the power x plus y, molality to the power x plus y. In this equation, now I have said that molality of the solution in this question is small m, so we are not going to change the value of this m, right? We just have to put the values of x and y, and now you know how you can find the values of x and y. So just put the values of x and y here. A will be equals to 1 to the power 1 into 1 to the power 1 into gamma plus minus to the power 1 plus 1 into m to the power 1 plus 1. So what will we get? 1 gamma plus minus to the power 2 m to the power 2, or you can say gamma plus minus m to the power 2. This is your answer. Okay, so now we'll move on to the second question. Suppose we have to calculate the activity for K2SO4 electrolytic solution. So how is it going to dissociate? 2K positive plus SO4 2 negative. So now if we calculate the values of x and y, see coefficient of K positive is 2, coefficient of SO4 2 negative is 1. So values of x and y are 2 and 1. So if I use this equation, A is equals to x to the power x, y to the power y, gamma plus minus to the power x plus y, m to the power x plus y. So here we just have to put the values of x and y. So A will be equal to 2 to the power 2, 1 to the power 1, gamma plus minus to the power 2 plus 1, m to the power 2 plus 1. So it will come out to be 2 to the power 2 is 4, 1 to the power 1 is 1. So gamma plus minus to the power 3, m to the power 3. Or you can say 4 gamma plus minus m to the power 3. So this is your answer. Okay, we'll do one more question. Suppose we have to calculate the activity for the electrolytic solution of Al2SO4 3. Okay, so how is it going to dissociate? 2Al 3 positive plus 3SO4 2 negative, right? So if I compare it with this equation, so what will be the values of x and y? The coefficient of cation is 2, so x is 2, coefficient of anion is 3, so y is 3. So in this equation, put the values of x and y. So A is equals to x to the power x, y to the power y, gamma plus minus to the power x plus y, m to the power x plus y. So A will be equal to 2 to the power 2 is 4, 3 to the power 3 is 27, gamma plus minus to the power 3 plus 2 5, m to the power 5. Okay, so 27 into 4, 21 7 for 28, 108, gamma plus minus m to the power 5. So this is the answer. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. In the next video we're going to study about ionic strength, which is left, and also about the fuel cell. Okay, there is one more topic, that is corrosion, but that will cover in the previous year question series, because that is not a very lengthy topic and that will be covered along with the previous year question. So for now we have only two topics left. One is ionic strength and other is fuel cell. That will continue in the next video. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.